paperwork reconciled, the equipment packed up and put in a corner, then the convention can get underway and take as long as it takes to get through the business of the convention. The business being the selection of the permanent convention chairman after the temporary chairman opens it up, the selection of the delegates for the next level, in this case the Senate District Conventions, the resolutions, most important, and depending on contentiousness quotient, there may be some interesting discussion. But always remember, these are your neighbors. It's an informal setting. Don't go crazy with Robert's Rules of Order. You don't have to. These conventions are run by under the Texas Election Code, the rules of the party, and the latest edition of Robert's Rules. But you don't have to be a lawyer. You just have to be a neighbor. You just have to be an informed voter. You just have to be able to deliver a clear and concise comment if you feel it necessary. Have fun with it. Learn from your neighbors. And get yourself selected to the next level. Bobby, did you have something?
Is there a time limit though for those boxes to get back down to wherever you have to take them to?
Well, they come looking for you if several hours have gone by, but they do. They will come looking for the election judge, but typically it does not become an issue with these precinct conventions interfering with the delivery of those boxes. Any other question on that?
Is there a time limit that the convention can last? Is
No.
it just a couple of hours or
Not
something?
if your location is going to toss you out and lock the doors because the maintenance help or whoever controls the facility has to do so, and you're not done, take it to your living room. Go to recess, take it to your living room and finish it up if need be. That can be done. You can host a convention in your living room or in your garage if the polling place, for whatever reason, is not available or insufficient or otherwise not appropriate. As long as your convention is held within the geographical boundaries of your voting precinct, it's not a problem. And all the paperwork is filled out and filed in a timely fashion. That's the biggest problem I recall with any precinct conventions are A, precincts not having a convention because no voter, in the absence of a chairman, would pick up the material and take it on himself to run it. I can understand the reluctance. I truly can, but it's not a giant undertaking. You don't go to jail if you fill in a wrong space. Now the election judge can go to jail, but not the convention chairman. It doesn't work that way. So draft your resolutions, get on down there. In your packet, there's a small diagram that indicates the general structure of the Republican Party. And although it shows the precinct organizations at the bottom, they are by far the most important. Richard?
Before we get to that page,
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea where the state convention is going to be held? Sometimes it's here.
The state convention will be in June, but I don't have the location yet.
Okay.
Frankly, I didn't check it. That's
So
still.
sometimes it's here, Dallas here.
It goes. I've been to conventions: Fort Worth, and Dallas, and Houston, in San Antonio. It's a moving feast. Exactly right. I guess whichever convention center gives the party the best deal, because the Republican Party of Texas state convention is one of, if not the biggest, political conventions in the whole darn country. It's worth going just to watch the show, even if you're not selected as a delegate. Although if you're a delegate, at least you get to sit on the floor and do stuff.
Yeah. I've been to about 5 of them.
For the district meeting, usually, I think we had something like 30 delegates and alternates, and you never could get enough people to show up to fill up the 30 delegates.
That's a good point. The delegates, every precinct's delegates has an equal number of delegates and alternates to move up the ladder. Too many times, as Bill points out, you'll have 2, you'll have 6, maybe on a good day you'll have a dozen participants at your precinct convention. So you know what? If everybody wants to go as a delegate, well, doggone it, we're all delegates, let's go. And I hope to see you up there because you can buy me a beer. Yes, please.
Give me an example of a good resolution.
Be it resolved.
Be it resolved.
Okay, a good resolution. Be it resolved that Texans possessing valid concealed carry permits
Yep.
may utilize said permits to possess their weapons on state college campuses.
Amen.
Amen.
How's that for a good
That's a
one?
good one.
Robin, you got a good one?
You moved out of my hand.
Oh, shit.
Get back in, kids.
Oh my gosh, we could have a bunch, you know, be it resolved that, that no state representative or senator shall serve more than 3 terms. Come on, we've got all kinds of possibilities.
Be it resolved that you must read the bill.
Yeah. Now, that brings us to another point.
Take a test on it.
The platform for the Republican Party of Texas, in the eyes of some folks, attempts to micromanage many points of policy. And it's lengthy, to say the least. It truly is. But maybe some of that stuff needs to find its way into the platform of the National Republican Party,
Here, here.
and find some people who will not only read it, but agree with and defend the majority of it. Stand up for it. You all remember Bob Dole ran for president back in '96.
Yeah.
The question came up to Bob Dole about party platforms, and he's reputed to have answered the question in words similar to platforms. We don't read that stuff. Folks, we have too much of that stuff. We may micromanage our state platform, but that platform is a bit and a piece of every one of y'all who goes to these conventions. And you won't see the strong arm tactics at your precinct level unless you know, if 8 people walk in together, you know they're up to something, but it's not likely.
That could be us.
Now, when you get to the state level, when there are far bigger egos and far more things at stake, yeah, it can get rough and tumble. But you know what? Politics is a full contact sport. It ain't for the squeamish. So gear up. Let me see your names on all these lists for these precinct conventions come March, and we'll go from there. I think I've probably exhausted the general concept of the precinct convention, and I'll be happy to chat with anybody either on the phone or even if we've got time later tonight. Bill's got experience. Richard there, he knows some of the drill. You know, we've got Steve there. He wants to get involved. He's thinking about filing this form. If you've got any thought of becoming a precinct chairman, your filing deadline will be January 4th, close of business at party headquarters. I've got a couple of the forms that are needed. Feel free to take a look. Feel free to take one home. Feel free to think about it. Check your precinct. We have open seats, and not everyone has someone filing for that seat. You'll be elected in March if you're unopposed. You won't see your name on a ballot, so you can't brag to your friends. I'm sorry about that. But check your precinct. Some of you probably have chairmen. Some of those chairmen might be okay and active and trying to increase the intelligence level of the vote and the numbers of the vote. And some of them may be just resting on their laurels, and maybe you'd like to give them a run for their money.
How do you find out?
Well, on the Republican side, you can check on the Harris County Party website, and I believe the address is harriscountygop.com. All one word, harriscountygop.com.